This program was brought to you by Organo Gold. Organo Gold is a health and wellness company that provides healthy coffees, teas, and chocolate. All one has to do is consume the available coffee, teas, chocolate, and other products to get all the available benefits. One can also share these products with others to help them improve their health as well.
And now, Fairfax Breakfast Club with your host, Basil Lemba.
Welcome to the Fairfax Breakfast Club show. My name is Basil Lemba and I will be your host. The Fairfax Breakfast Club is a weekly program in which we bring to you valuable and workable know-how you can use to improve your networking skills and grow your business. We always start the show with a quote, and today's quote is, "A man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops a clock to save time." And that is from Henry Ford. With us today in the studio, we have someone who helps businesses market themselves and grow their business. Her name is Connie Fuksa. Hello, Connie.
Hello, Basil.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good.
Good.
All right, tell us what you do.
I created a computer program called Blink. The purpose of Blink is to help small businesses stay in touch with their customers. I've owned several small businesses throughout my career, one in particular for quite a long time, and had a lot of trouble coming up with a system, finding something that was easy to use, didn't take up all my time because I was busy running my business, and also something that I could afford. Very hard to find something that meets those criteria currently in the market. After trying many different things and not being very successful, I finally decided to create exactly what I thought would work for me. We launched Blink 2 years ago. We currently have customers all across the country from every different type of small business that you can imagine. When I say small business, we have businesses as small as 2 users and as large as 200 users. So it depends on what area you feel you need to be able to speak with your customers. The two unique things that we have at Blink are, one, that we actually customize the system for you. So unlike a lot of other systems, when you buy a program, you have to actually go in and learn the system and then set it up for yourself. We actually sit down and talk with you and determine how you want to work with your system, and then we actually load all of the information that you need. So when you start working in it, it actually works exactly like you want it to. The other unique thing about Blink and our system is that all of the reminders that come to you about tasks that need to be completed throughout the year actually come to you in your email instead of popping up on your calendar. The nice thing about them coming to your email is it includes all of the information about that contact. So in essence, what you need to do is read your email that comes in, and if it reminds you to make a phone call, for example, to a client that you did work for last week, it'll have that client's phone number, email address, mailing address, but it'll also have any notes you entered into the system about them. So you have no need to go looking through any program or notes or any information to try to figure out the information about that contact before you reach out to them. So it allows you to be really successful in a really simple way, and that's how we came up with the name Blink.
Okay. So what does that mean then, Blink? Like at the Blink you have all the information, is that what I mean?
It's Blink, it's just as simple as blinking your eye. We like to make sure that the system is very simple so you don't have to stop your day-to-day operations.
Okay. Can you give me an example of what you just, the explanation you just gave me?
Sure. So when we actually set up a system for someone, what we do is we create campaigns of tasks. And that sounds kind of confusing, but really what we do is sit down and ask you, so what is the contacts that you deal with? What do they look like? Are they customers that you actually provide services to? Are they business partners you meet in the in business networking? Are they other contacts or maybe business partners that you meet in your same type of business that you want to stay in touch with? Because ultimately all of those people may become a customer of yours at some point. So staying in touch with them and reminding them about what your business does is what we want to do. So what we would do is help you decide who those contacts are, first of all. And then we create a group of tasks for each of those types of contacts based on how you want to talk to them throughout the year. And when I say talk to them, it may be an email, it may be writing a personal note, it may be sending a postcard with some latest information. All different, pick up a phone, set up a face-to-face meeting with them. And basically what our system does is remind you to do these things and gives you all of the pertinent details about that contact. So when you do have to do it, it's very simple and you can be very personal to that contact.
Got it.
So I'd say, for example, one of the reminders that we got was to reach out to a customer that we did some work for last week, and that customer didn't have any children, was very fond of his dogs, and one of his dogs was having major surgery, and he was very concerned about it. You've been very busy and met several other different customers throughout that past week. You might not remember all those details right off the bat. When that reminder comes through to your email, it's going to not only have his information so you can pick up the phone and call, but it's also going to say, remember his dog Joe had surgery last week on his hip and it was pretty concerning to him. So when you made that phone call, you could be very personal about his dog. And all that comes right to your email, so you never have to go back into the system to look anything up.
So when I they send me the contact, then I go and input that information, input the reminder, and then when the emails come, all the data is right then and there.
That's correct, but you don't have to set up the reminder. When we sit down and set up your system for you initially, and we create these groups of tasks, all you then have to do is
go to the specific group of tasks.
Absolutely, you just have to assign that customer to whatever group they belong to, and it starts working for you. So there's really not a whole lot of thinking once we set the system up, and that's really what we want to do. We want to make sure that you don't have to go in and understand the system. Now certainly there's a lot of details and things that it can do over and above that, but that's at the basic level what the simple side of the system is for contacts to be able to do that. There's a lot of other features that we have in this system. You are able to send group emails. You can search all different types of things with your contacts. So you can tag contacts in certain ways. So say, for example, you tag everybody that attended the Breakfast Club. Maybe you go to another event that isn't that particular event, you attend a different type of event and you tag people in that way. And maybe you want to send a flyer out to people that you meet at other events that don't go to the Breakfast Club. So you can actually run a list of all of those people and send them out a group email right from the system. You can customize email templates so you can make your signatures look like whatever you want. You can actually send individual emails and birthday and anniversary emails right from the system. So there's a lot of other in-depth things that you can do. A lot of times when I originally talk to people, I don't talk as much about all the in-depth things initially, because a lot of times I want to present the system as a very simple, easy to use, and when we talk about all the in-depth things it can do, sometimes people have a tendency to get overwhelmed and instead of realizing the simplicity, get a little turned around and feel like maybe it's a little more complex than they need.
Well, I guess at the beginning you're talking about the simple. If one they are in it, and then you can take them into the more
Absolutely.
the deeper aspect.
That's correct. So there is quite a few things that we can do with the system. We are in the current process of setting up the mobile app, which we expect to be launched probably in the next 3 weeks. There will be an Apple iPhone app, and there'll also be our iPhone, iPad, and then there will also be an Android app, and those should be done within the next 30, 45 days. The Apple one, we're just really waiting for Apple's approval now, so, because once you create the app, you have to submit it for them to approve it. The app is really going to contain just the ability to modify your contacts or add new contacts. So salespeople usually are in their car, out on the road meeting with people. And so they may want to enter a contact or look up some information while they're out of their office and away from their computer. The system itself is web-based, so you can look up the information anywhere that you have access to the internet. But we want to give salespeople who may be using it frequently out on the road the ability to adjust or update or modify their contacts, or even delete them if they find out that contact isn't a valid one anymore. But we're not going to have the ability to do a lot more complex things with the app, because since the reminders come to your email, it already has all the information you need, so you shouldn't need to have to search around, and that's really why we did that, to make the simplicity for them.
Gotcha. What did you do before?
I actually concurrently, I own a title company, and I've owned a title company for 28 years.
Oh, wow.
And small, localized Maryland, D.C., and Virginia work. We have being a 28-year company and in a title industry, you don't touch your customers very frequently, once every 5 or 7 years. And we tried a lot of different systems, and there are a lot of very good systems out there, but they're created such in most cases that they're much more adapt to larger companies that want to be able to do a lot of different things with the system, which is great. But a small business has a limited amount of time to devote to that type of thing, and they want to make sure that they do touch their customers, but aren't having to reinvent the wheel every time they go in and set something up or try to understand, or like I like to say, learn and think like the computer. I am not one of the people in the world that you would meet that are the most happy dealing with computers, but I realize that they're an important part of our world. And so when I created this app and was working with developers to get it set up, I knew what I wanted it to do on the simple side. And it was very hard to talk to the developers because they think totally differently than business people and you and I, absolutely. But having been in my own business for a long time, I knew exactly what I wanted out of it. And so it was just a matter of getting it down on paper and getting a developer to understand how I wanted it to work. But yeah, my title company still exists, and we are starting to get really busy again. And so I'm happy to be able to have this. My staff has been using the program for a year and a half. Great reviews from my customers. They call regularly about it, what they've been using. I have some other testimonials on our website from other customers that have had just surprising reviews from clients that they've stayed in touch with, particularly because they didn't have a system in place before, and their clients are recognizing that now they're doing something, and what is it exactly that they're doing. We recently just picked up a client all the way across the West Coast in California, and we have my 200 salesperson payroll company in Texas that we deal with. So we have customers from all shapes and sizes and every different type of genre that you can imagine.
We talked about, we're going to go over that in a minute, the breakfast we talked about, but one of the ideas that I have, I think you should do a spot lab presentation.
Okay.
At our breakfast event.
Okay, I would like that. I'd like that very much.
Because the reason I'm saying that, because yes, there's a lot of programs out there, but very much generic and big in size and what have you, but they're not as accustomed as your program is. And like in anything, it's new, so you need to educate.
Right, absolutely.
You need to educate people. I think that should be something we can do, but we'll talk about that later. Now, we have the fortune of having you a couple of times at our breakfast event. Can you please tell the audience your experience at the breakfast event?
Well, the best way to explain the breakfast event is I have been, for each time I've been, I've picked up a new client. It's fantastic. The Breakfast Club is one of the largest attended events that I go to that is, for all intent and purposes, very inexpensive, at least free. Particularly that we have breakfast, and that's pretty much what you pay for. It's wonderful. The amount of people that you have attending on a regular basis is phenomenal. And the best part I think about it is what I like to call the speed networking event. Okay. Because you really get to touch a lot of people very quickly and at least pique interest, and you get attention. I've made a lot of contacts through that, and like I said, for each meeting I've attended, I've picked up a new customer, which is fantastic. Okay. And I've had the opportunity to educate them, so I really enjoy it. And as a testament, it's one of the events that I go to that I get up really early because I live quite far away. But I get up early with no questions asked to be there because I know how valuable it is. Okay. So I really enjoy it.
Excellent. And I'm glad you're going to be one of the exhibitors at our expo.
I'm really excited about that, as a matter of fact. I have done several different types of expos in different specialty areas, and they've been somewhat successful. I mean, more it's educating people and getting the information out there, but with the experiences that I've had just at the Breakfast Club, I'm just very excited about the opportunity and what it's more than likely going to bring to our business. So
definitely.
I appreciate you asking.
Yeah, my pleasure. For those folks who do not know what we're talking about.
You're missing out on the boat, so pay attention.
First of all, let's talk about the Breakfast Club we host right here in Fairfax at the Old Town Hall, the third Thursday of the month. It's at the Old Town Hall in Fairfax, 3999 University Drive. And also the big expo coming up on June 20 at the Stacy Sherwood Community Center. About 100 exhibitors there and 300 to 400 business people. that would be a very good event.
Very excited about it.
Yes. I would say one thing. This will be the 10th anniversary. There is a great thing about our event. You sense it, you cannot see with the eyes. I think it's the culture of it.
Awesome.
Truly, the people that are coming and genuinely interested in helping other people and finding out, because I've been to several expo where you can be standing there, and sometimes the people passing, they're just passing to pass, let's put it that way, looking, maybe if you have some candies or whatever. But what I like about that expo, like the people that are coming to see you and meet you and see what you have to offer. In your case, you have a product that is highly valuable.
That's one reason I'm very excited. Most of the types of events that I've worked in the past, people do exactly what you say, walk by and are just sort of breezing to try to look.
Almost as if you feel bad talking to them, but where did they come from? They come to see you.
Exactly.
But they should be, we're not saying that each and every one of them,
right? But
they should be coming to find out. That's what's great
That's what it's about. So I'm very excited about that, because having the opportunity to at least be able to talk to people, not everything is an exact fit for everyone, but if you don't have the opportunity to talk about it, then you have no way of knowing. So,
exactly.
And yeah, I'm very excited about it for that purpose. So, and the other wonderful thing about the events that I've been to of yours are people don't stand around and not talk to each other. There's always someone walking up and talking to you about something. Everybody's interested in making connections. And so for that, I'm also looking forward to the expo, because obviously it's going to be a larger version of the Breakfast Club. And
tremendous amount of energy. I mean, it's like, it is buzzing. There's event. They're like, it's just something else. I've been, just like you, I've been to different events. I don't feel it.
Right.
Sometimes it's like, I even sometimes have to feel that I gotta carry it. I gotta get it going. Or guys, what are we here for? Or you got lost, or you get what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and even networking events, I have the same feeling sometimes. What are we? It's so structured, and yours is very energetic, extremely energetic, and everybody's very involved, and it's really a very, very valuable event. So I'm really excited about the expo. Okay. I'm glad to be an exhibitor. I think we're going to be really successful there.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now I have a question for you. What is your biggest challenge in life?
What is my biggest challenge in life? I don't know. I'm one of those people that just doesn't sit still very easily, as you can imagine, having two businesses, and I keep pretty active. And I think what frustrates me is when I see when I get put in a position to have to work with people that don't try to achieve their potential. And I am a very driven person. It takes a lot for me to just sit down and not do anything. I mean, even down to the fact to sit and watch TV at night, it's not my thing. And so it saddens me or frustrates me when I see business people that don't try to reach their potential and continue to drive, and even when things are a little bit difficult, and we all run across that, you have to push past those things, because you're never going to be successful. You're never going to reach the dreams that you want. So I try very hard not to let things get in my way. I have a lot of things that I keep in front of me that remind me what the end game is and where I want to be. And so on those days when things do get really kind of tough, and building a computer program, I can tell you I'd never had any idea how challenging that was going to be. But I learned, I have two family members that both are in the computer field, and so I know that computer people don't talk the same language as the rest of us. But I never really had to work with them on something I wanted, and it was kind of frustrating. So I had to remind myself very frequently to keep going, keep picking up. And so I try really hard to do that, and it saddens me when I see other people, business people that could be very successful, but that don't keep pushing themselves. So.
Gotcha. Very good, thank you. And what is your biggest success?
My son. I have one child who is currently in the Navy, and we just recently visited him, and he chose to take a different path in life than we had hoped for him. He was very successful in school and he had a lot of opportunities, and instead it chose to enlist in the Navy. And I think that's a very admirable thing, but I had hoped that maybe he would take, even if he went in the Navy, go a different route, because he had a lot of opportunities. And one of our discussions was, if you're going to do it this way, then you better be the best enlisted person you could be. And he has done exactly that. He's in some great positions with some great opportunities. So very, very proud of him. We were just recently visiting him in Hawaii, and he's just turned 21 and has just amazing opportunities in front of him. So I'm really proud of that.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Where do you see now your company in the next 5 to 10 years?
Actually, I see Blink in the next 5 years. I would really hope that we have a real strong base of customers and that we are serving a lot more customers throughout the United States. In 10 years, I'd really like to be globally more exposed. I think there's an opportunity that really is missed in this market. A business person told me one time, if you can find a need that people have and you can fill that need, you're going to be very successful. Well, this is a pain that I had, and I really feel that small businesses really have this problem and that they don't have something available to them. And I really feel passionate about getting the service to them. It's a lot less about making lots of money and having some business that's this conglomerate. It's more about one-to-one helping people as I can go along. And so I really hope by 10 years I'm globally helping small businesses around the country, around the world.
Let me ask you this. Are you aware, it probably is, do you think there's anybody else that do what you're doing right now?
I don't know that there's someone doing with the niche that I do.
The only similar thing I can think of that I know about is a difference. Somebody sending postcard. Have you heard about that company that sends postcards to people?
And there's a couple. That's an online thing where you can send postcards and cards. Those are niche kind of things. It's like Constant Contact. If it's the same one I'm thinking about, it's called Send Out Cards.
Yeah, Send Out Cards. Yes, that's right.
And those are specific to that type of thing.
They're not computer based or like
right.
yours.
And my system doesn't send things for you unless you want to do like a group email and attach a flyer. What it does is keep you on top of your task.
Oh, okay.
So, and a lot of people ask me that question, and I think it may be a little bit confusing sometimes when I explain it, because I think people are looking for a system that may do
It comes
those
to
things.
you, does not go out.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. It comes to you and says, today you must pick up the phone and call Bazille and make sure that everything's okay with him. Maybe let him know about a special that you have going on. 60 days from now, you must send a postcard to Bazille. So those are the tasks that we set up initially with you based on how you want to reach out to your customers. Being in the title business, a lot of people that I targeted initially were title people because I understand them. And one of my customers was very, very different in how we set her work up as opposed to another title company that we had. And I found that really interesting because in any industry, we all think that most everyone else does things the way that we do, or at least pretty similar. And so it really opened my eyes to the difference in every type of business. That every single contact, every single business that I work with, no matter how many of the repeat type of business they are, they all do things differently. So that's the customization that we do and help you set it up. Because I want you to go in there and say, oh my gosh, I can go right in here, do this, and it'll start working for me. And I don't really have to think about it. Unlike going in a system and having to sit down and understand how it works to make it work best for you. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. Because if you're not using the system, I don't think it's a success for you. So there's a lot of other add-on kind of things that you can do, and ultimately I hope to maybe partner with some of those so that you can do maybe cards and some other things. But I'm trying very hard to make sure that we don't add a lot of things to the system and make it a whole lot more complex and turn into one of those things that's very difficult to use. So I'm very gun-shy about adding a lot of things for that reason.
Well, I understand that. I mean, you're starting just, lack of better word, perfect what you have, and then see if there's anything else.
Right.
And I would say, being that it shows by business, beware of all the ideas that this are that. I speak for myself. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Breakfast Club in June. You will amaze the amount of ideas, suggestions. We got to change it. We got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. All of them. Here and there, I accepted few, but I was very careful to what to add. We knew what we were there for. We were there to get people in communication to one another, get them to connect. We stick to it for 10 years.
That's fantastic, and that's why you're successful. I mean, I don't know of anything else like what you're doing. Seen it on a smaller level, but not anything that has this type of success. It's really exciting.
But it was a fight, I tell you, because people, not that they mean bad, they say, well, we should do this. Well, that's not what we did. That's why you got to have clear, your goals got to be clear as to what you should be doing. And you got to add this extra, you got to do this, you got to do this, you really got to stick to your thing, stick to your guns.
And I've thought about that because I've had quite a few people say to me different things. And at first I was quick to say, sure, okay, maybe we'll add that. And then I started thinking when I was by myself, why is it that I created this program? It was so it didn't become one of those kind of programs. And not that they're bad, don't get me wrong. They have a lot of great features, but one of the main reasons small businesses don't use them is because they have a lot of features and they make it too complicated.
It's one thing if a customer wants that feature, you add it, but my experience is that you got to know what you're trying to offer and stay on it. And stay on it. And I think that it also gives you not only identity but branding.
Right.
As to this is what you do. You're not constant contact or whatever other. This is what you are all about. This is what you're all about. I think that is fundamental to stay, like a bit of true to yourself, true to the product you want to bring to the marketplace.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a lot of people ask me about Constant Contact. I use Constant Contact. I think it's a great tool in its space. One of the things that I find is people use Constant Contact. It's affordable and it helps you set up a lot of things, so it's simplistic. But people go a little overboard with it, and then they end up having people that unsubscribe. And once someone unsubscribes from you, you can't ever email them again illegally. So you've just pretty much killed your contact there in that case. So I try to warn people against getting overzealous with that and to use other means. They have to be, people want to hear from you. They want to hear from you in a lot of other ways. Individual emails, some personal things, and those kind of things, and you can't do that with Constant Contact. So I think it's a good tool.
It's not a bad tool. I do use it myself, but I just think you got to be smart. You got to know what you're all about, where you're going, and what have you, and play within, and take care of a customer. Don't annoy them with communication every hour or so, which are not personal at all. I guess that's what most of people take objection to. But I think that is a good idea at this stage of the game to stick to your thing, because it gives you identity, give you branding. You find something people need, just stay on it. We're coming on to the end over here. I want to thank you very much for coming to our show.
Thank you for having me. I feel very honored. Thank you. I appreciate being invited.
My pleasure. Folks, if you want more information on our show, you can find that on our website, which is blnbc.com. And also I want to remind you that every third Thursday of the month we have the breakfast event. And on June 20, we're having a big expo, the 10th anniversary expo here in Fairfax. 100 exhibitors, 400 to 500 business people. Thank you very much. See you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
This program was brought to you by Organo Gold. Organo Gold is a health and wellness company that provides healthy coffees, teas, and chocolate. All one has to do is consume the available coffee, teas, chocolate, and other products to get all the available benefits. One can also share these products with others to help them improve their health as well.